Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. The kickoffs are nearly concluded around the world and the big series we were all waiting for went down last night. Sentinels versus NRG, and it's Sentinels that come out on top, knocking NRG out of the playoffs and securing their spot at Masters Madrid, their first international event in well over 2 years for Sentinels. Tenzin Zekken especially really turning up in this one, setting the scene incredibly well for Masters Madrid. There are incredible teams at this event, not the teams we were expecting frankly going into this tournament. The tournament is clouded to all hell, the scriptwriters have been going insane. Massively intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, there were some rumours yesterday though that Fracture is making a return. I don't really know exactly what the future of this is going to be, but it was like Fracture was spotted in the background of a video that Riot did, and therefore there's been rumours that maybe Fracture is coming back. So, you know, Vanity says, please, like, get rid of Icebox, bring Fracture back in ASAP. There's been some talk from others that they want Pearl back as well, but I'm not sure if that's going to be happening yet. Now, some people have actually denied this is the case, and some sources have said, no, this isn't true, Fracture isn't returning yet. I think it'll return at some point, but not in the map pool for now. So we'll see. There's been rumours on either side of this, but I would quite like a Fracture return, and I feel like a team like Evil Geniuses, and maybe therefore NRG, would rather like that to be the case as well. This is wild as well, though, from KC, right? So Zech says the following here, that, look, we know what happened to these guys last season, but have a look at this. I know that some people probably appreciate this kind of stats are pretty pointless, but of course they won the EMEA playoffs against Heretics after qualifying for Madrid. But including our kickoff warm-up games and prep, we were on a 58 scrim win streak in a row. We have not dropped a map since the 6th of February. So that is absurd, right? That these guys, after where they were last year, in their practice, have been beating everyone, every single map forever, which I think is so indicative of like just a great team culture. Like, if you can go into scrims as a team and just get on intending to win and just to dominate your opposition, I feel like it's just such a good mentality that shows that that team is really just firing at all cylinders right now. So really cool for KC. Of course, they are going to be in Masters Madrid. One team and player that's not there, of course, is Ye on the Bleed Esports side. Now, he was joking around yesterday that he wasn't going to be let back into the facility, and I feel like realistically speaking, nobody expected Ye after all the investment and the fact that Bleed are effectively seeming to build around him to get dropped immediately afterwards. Probably not how it's going to be, but somebody's going to go. The rumor is that man is going to be crazy, guys. This has been emerging over the last day or so, and I talked about it yesterday that I didn't really see Scary or Egoist going anywhere. So to me, it was between Dayon and Crazy Guy, and sometimes that's how it goes. Team underperforms, bang, change the IGL. Tough for him, right? Because Bleed Esports have come into this season. They've not played many off-season tournaments. This guy took them through Ascension to qualify for this whole league, and now they're going to get rid of him. And that seems to be the present rumor. And then we actually did see this right from Crazy Guy's Twitter, where he, people managed to snipe the fact that he'd liked this tweet that said, guess Ye's reputation is more important than the in-game leader of Bleed. So, maybe take that to mean that Crazy Guy's possibly gone, and he's not so happy about it, and feels like the team is being protective of Ye in this instance. So, yeah, probably more drama to come on that side, but, there's always more drama to come. This is Valorant Esports, baby. So we've got to talk about the matches of yesterday, especially in the Americas, and wow, what a set of games. I thought Evil Geniuses impressed me in the series against Loud. The fact that they took this to 3 was commendable. I'm sure they will feel like they could have done a bit better here in the last couple of maps of the series. If Supermen was a bit more impactful, if they didn't lose that 2v4, but still, you've got to give credit to Toys and Les and these guys. They're just so good on that Loud team. But game 1 was very impressive by Evil Geniuses, right? Because they went into this game 1 here on the Ascent, a map that Loud looked really good on the other day. And this is the thing, if you're Evil Geniuses, you know that Potter and those guys over there, they prepare well, they execute well for these series. And Loud had really cooked up something special for the Ascent when they first played Sentinels on it right at the start of the tournament. And the feeling was, wow, you don't want to really be challenging Loud on Ascent. They've got this crazy composition, like what are you going to do about it? But no, EG clearly came in with so much prep done, and they managed to straight up counter the Loud setup and send them down pretty emphatically game 1. But after that, Loud decided, all right, let us turn it around, and then they won the series pretty effectively from there on out. So I think this is good, really. We do want to see, I would say, the best teams in the regions go to the international events, and I think it was quite clear that Loud were, the best team in the region, at least until this point. Maybe when they play Sentinels, we'll discuss in a second, that could be a different story again, but of course Loud have beaten Sen already in the tournament so far. But yeah, I think it was good, really, that Loud made it through. It was a close affair, as I said, like Ascent was actually really impressive here, I thought. The 13-7 they managed to pull off against this composition with the Phoenix and all this type of stuff. And of course, Icebox was 13-7 back the other way. So this was the chance probably really for EG, right? Because, you know, winning the Loud Ascent pick in the way that they did, Loud weren't expecting that. But, you know, their chances here on the Icebox, and then they got smashed out on the Sunset in the end, 13-5. So yeah, Loud through to Masters Madrid. Cool to see them back at another international. They do seem super inevitable, and yeah, no doubt that a group of death was absolutely the group of death based on the evidence right about here. But that was the series that was easier to call. The series that was much more challenging to call, though, was NRG versus Sentinels. And I think we, you know, analysed this pretty well yesterday, right? That Sen were obviously good. The question was how good NRG were, and whether Sen were getting overhyped to some degree. But I still feel like people, you know, maybe not now, but going into this series, people were still kind of playing down just like how talented this Sen team really is. And I think we saw that on display this series. They've put in so much work as well, Sentinels, over this offseason. The amount of offseason tournaments they played, the amount of, obviously, practice they've done, but they've played like 1,000 rounds of Valorant's, like, you know, gameplay on stages over the last few months. That's way more than most other teams. They've put in more work during the offseason probably than like every other team. Okay, everyone's putting in work, but you know what I mean? In terms of playing tournaments, going out of their way to grind and practice and put in the work, they've done an awful good job. And NRG, early days for this team, of course, they hadn't had much LAN practice and experience going into this match as a new team. So I did feel like Sentinels should have been favoured here. To be fair, though, early on, NRG went up 2-0. And, you know, they were basically saying, oh, these guys aren't shooting back, of course, which didn't age especially well. I know FNS was getting annoyed as well at production here. I do feel kind of bad because the observers, when things are going well for the observers and they are correctly, you know, choosing which players to watch and everything like that, they don't get any credit, right? Like the observers, it's one of those things where when it goes well, nobody notices. And when it goes wrong, then people notice and complain. So, you know, FNS was saying like, why can't I watch anything? And I thought that was a justifiable complaint on this specific rounds. Like sometimes the observers are watching a player and then they change POVs for, you know, reasons that aren't particularly clear, and then you just don't get to see the actual kill here. So it's like loads of the kills get missed here by the observer team, and FNS wasn't so happy about it. But this is an important round, right? Because this tied up the game here at 5-5. And then we had a banger conclusion here to the first map on the Sunset with, I mean, look at this from TenZ. 1, 2, 3, huge shots to send it to overtime there. And I mean, honestly, TenZ's performance today was Masters, Reykjavik, TenZ reminiscent, right? Like, we know that TenZ is talented, but I don't think we've seen him have a series quite like he did today in terms of impact and just raw aim and ability and everything that TenZ brings to the party for quite some time. And Zekken was right there as well. Like, this Sen team is just really good. So, game one, Sentinels, we know they're good at this map here on the Sunset. They eventually take it in the overtime. And I think I did predict there'd be some sort of an overtime in this series. And to be honest, after that map one, I was thinking, all right, well, here we go. Probably it's going to be overtime every single map, right? Why not? But that's not what happened. TenZ made some crazy plays on the map 3, but NRG, they took the game to on the Ascent. Again, maybe it was more Sentinels being pretty, you know, underwhelming at Ascent rather than Loud being crazy good at Ascent that we saw right at the start of the tournament. So NRG take that one. I feel like this series is always destined really for a map 3. But in the final game of the series, like, Sentinels just demolished them. I thought we might have, like, you know, bang a map 3 here, like, go all the way down to the Y, but no. Sentinels just crushed him. TenZ was making some insanely ballsy plays here as well, like, playing on a complete other level of Valorant. And, yeah, NRG, frankly, could get nowhere near these guys. I mean, this was a ridiculous round here from TenZ. Like, this should be an impossible one to win, realistically. JohnQT gets 1, gets 2, and JohnQT cleans up the final one as well to close out the round. And yeah, TenZ on the Omen man is just so much fun to watch. He's an absolute menace. So Sentinels get the job done, and for the first time in like well over 800 days, they've qualified for an international tournament. So it seems like Sen are officially back here. As he says, it's been a hot minute since I qualified for an international. Proud of what the team have accomplished so far. And yeah, here goes Demon One straight into the trash can, right? So yeah, tough scenes for NRG. Demon One didn't you know, play his game, and he said, like, you know, didn't play well that day, going to be back stronger. Thought it was a nice interaction here between Marv and Zekken as well, right? When, because of course Marv was on Sen last year, says one of that's so bad, got things to work on for ourselves, and I don't think NRG can be too unhappy. Like, they've lost to a team that was really well prepared and looked really solid, and yeah, they just turned out to be the third best team, it seems, in the Americas right now, which is understandable. But Sentinels continue to march onward, and again, it was just a great team effort across the board here from Sen. Demon 1 didn't have his greatest series, of course, but Tens really took over. Zekken as well, okay, because of the ratings and the roles, it looks like Zekken didn't do much, but he had 57, Tens had 57, like, they're all combining for just so much impact in this series. And then, yeah, that map 3 split was just domination from start to finish, but the Sunset really was what won Sentinels, I thought, this series, when Tens and Zekken combined for 61 kills over the entire map. So we now find ourselves with these 8 teams qualifying for Masters Madrid, and if you look at these 8 teams, and as Johnny Guti says, you know, record viewership incoming, right, pretty wild stuff, you wouldn't have thought this would be the case. As Rocket Bullets even pointed out here, if you look back at last year's lock-in events, and look where these teams were this time last year, it wasn't pretty for these guys. Most of these teams got first rounded last season. Casey got second rounded. And of course, Loud went to the finals and choked so hard against Fnatic to end up losing it. But it's pretty insane how much these teams have come on after the changes they made over the last year or so. And now to find ourselves with these 8 teams at Masters Madrid. Yeah, no Fnatic, no DRX, of course, EDG and FPX. You might well have expected that from the Chinese side. I definitely expected the 2 teams to qualify from the Americas to probably be 2 teams from Group B, which is what it was, or maybe NRG, which again we saw came pretty close to happening. Like, so that's not what happened for the Americas, but Gen G being there looking really strong, Paperx is there as well. Yeah, it's going to be a banger tournament. The script writers have gone insane here, making Sentinels qualify for this as well. And of course, we're going to see today when the, well, as we can see actually right about here, when the next match is upcoming between Sentinels and Loud, because they play the finals. And actually, Kaplan came out on Twitter and said, yeah, we're looking forward to actually trying to win this finals here, because it's actually a pretty important victory for the teams. I think for the fans, it's going to be interesting as well, just to see who's actually on top. Like, they lost 0-2 to Loud at the start of the tournament. Can Sentinels come back and win? Because they definitely want to win, get the circuit points for the championship qualification at the end of the season. So it's a series that they will look to try and to take down. Loud will be favourites for it, and if you lose it, doesn't matter that much because you're qualifying to Madrid anyway. But at the same time, if you want to win Masters Madrid, you might well have to beat Loud to do so, or you'll have to beat some really good team. So this will be a good test from Sen, because we know that Kaplan said during their run that he felt they'd improved massively over the course of the run that they made, and were not the same team now as they were when they lost to Loud the first time round. So we'll see if there's any evidence of that, whether they'll avoid the Ascent or decide to play it, because, you know, this is a best of 5 to be fair, so it'll probably find its way in there somewhere. But very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.